Welcome to the Rise Together podcast weekly hot take series. Every week, we're going to bring you powerful stories and strategies from leaders who are making a real impact by building stronger, more resilient communities. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and equipped with the tools to thrive in both your personal and professional life.
Hi, everybody. I'm Beth Almaris with the Foundation for Family and Community. We're a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to helping individuals and organizations build strength and resilience through skill building education. So taking that step between knowledge and really learning to apply it. So there's behavior change. I'm excited to talk to my guest today. We're really lucky to have Stephanie Royal, who's the Chief People and Culture Officer for Robinhood. And she's going to talk to us about what that means and about her organization and some other great stuff. So thanks for joining me today, Stephanie.
It's great to be here with you.
Yeah. So are you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So can you give me a brief overview of your organization?
Yeah, so Robinhood is a philanthropy, a foundation. We're based in New York City, and our mission is to address all the factors that keep people in poverty generation after generation. We are interested in advancing economic mobility. We do our work principally here in New York City, but what we have learned over the 37 years that we've been in existence is that it's important to partner. It's important to share information, and it's important to listen and learn, because we certainly don't have all of the resources. We don't have all of the solutions, but what we do has been very impactful, and we work to share that with other communities, other geographies, other nonprofits, so that they can learn and that we can have an exchange of ideas.
That's fantastic. And how big is Robinhood? How big is
Our staff is around 105 right now, small and mighty. We grant about $130 million a year, between 130 and 150 million a year. Yeah. And I will, shout out to my development team, because every dollar that we raise goes out the door for our grant making. We have a very generous board that supports our operations and our operational budget, meaning our salaries and benefits, all of that. But yes, if you were a donor to Robinhood, if you gave $5, that $5 would be put into a grant out the door to support our poverty fighting efforts.
What? So, I'm a longtime nonprofit professional. So hearing that model, like the board supports operations, I'm like, what is that?
Yes. Yeah.
That's incredible.
We're very fortunate.
Incredible to be able to put all of your energy and passion for your development team into actually raising the money to do the work.
Yes.
And not just to keep everybody employed too.
Well, I was looking, I was just out, there's a whiteboard outside my office, and one of our managing directors on the development team has a poster, and it says, "Pressure is a privilege." Pressure is a privilege, because what we are doing is working really hard under a lot of pressure to raise money, but we also recognize kind of where we sit and who we're raising that money for. And so it is a true privilege and honor to do this work on behalf of the most vulnerable here in New York.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful. So tell me, what does it mean to be the Chief People and Culture Officer?
Oh, it means a lot. I am responsible for all things related to the employee experience, from recruitment to hiring, retention, professional development, compensation, benefits, organizational development. I do a lot of executive coaching and mentoring of staff. Performance management is in my portfolio as well, career advancement and career progression. And then I'm really proud of the work we do around wellness, especially now. There's just a lot of stress on the nonprofit sector right now.
Mhm.
So, wellness and well being is important for our team to really be thinking about on behalf of the employees. And what else is there? I think that's pretty much it. Just making sure that we have like the policies in place to support our staff, that we are an inclusive organization, a place where people understand that there's one life and you have to balance work and personal. And sometimes it might be, 80% work and 20% personal, and then the inverse can happen as well.
Mhm.
But we're focused on impact that we can have while supporting each other and the tremendous work that we do here.
Yeah. So you talked about employee wellness. What does that look like
Mhm.
at Robinhood? What are some of your policies?
Sure. I mean, there are a number. Let's first start with our work environment. We have a beautiful space. Um, we have a lot of supports around here. We've got, pantries with all the types of coffees and snacks and things like that. Every milk that you can think about. I was just looking around. I was like, why? Where's the oat milk? And everything's almond milk. But that's like kind of one, physical manifestation of how we think about taking care of the staff, the space itself. We have a hybrid work policy. Right now, we're requiring our staff to come into the office 2 days a week. We generally see people either 3 or 4 days a week, just depending on the season and what people are working on. But having that flexibility is a true benefit, particularly in our organization because we are about 85% female.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I both know that as much as we try to have equity in our households, certain things just fall to the woman, and whether we like it or not. And so having that flexibility for our staff is really important to us. We have a highly competitive compensation structure where we like to, look at market data and make sure that we are at the top end of that, or at least 75th percentile and up. Um, our benefits are outstanding, meaning health, dental, vision. And then our retirement benefits, again, are very generous as well. So we look at the entire employee experience, not just where they work or how they work, but how is it that we can support the development of our staff so that they can continue to learn and grow while having the impact of their job function be seen in how we advance our mission.
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. What do you think are some of the challenges that, so it's interesting. So we really, our vocabulary around human resources has really been changing, right?
Mhm.
Just more to people centered and things like that. But what do you think are some of the biggest challenges facing um, people teams or human resources teams right now?
Um, I think that there are capacity issues, right? How much can you actually get done in a day when you've got limited resources, and being able to manage your time as a resource, being able to manage your talent as a resource is a real challenge for us in the field. I think also there is a lot of competition for top talent, particularly now. The market is flooded with people who are looking for their next opportunity, even in an uncertain economic market. And so we have some tough decisions to make about not only the hiring, but can we budget appropriately to bring on additional staff to have the impact that we want to have, given the uncertainty of our economy and the global economy, right? So for nonprofits like ours, we rely on donor dollars. And
Mm-hmm.
so we've got to be very careful. And again, we have a very generous board. However, we can't tell people how to spend their money,
Right.
right? And so the economic downturn and the shifts in the market will certainly have an impact on our donors, on prospective donors that have yet to come into the fold. And so we've got to be very judicious about the way that we allocate existing resources and then plan so that we can be future ready for the work ahead.
Yeah, that's great. And speaking of the future, what do you think are some of the trends in human resources or people teams
Yeah,
to look
I
at more?
the first thing that comes to mind, Beth, is artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Right? How can we best leverage AI as HR professionals? I know that our team uses AI on a daily basis. We are practicing, we are leveraging AI for writing, for creating positions, for, meaning like opinions, right? Creating
Mm,
positions there, doing research, and then measuring um, competing analyses. That is all, that's what we're doing right now on our team. I'm still in search of a really good tool to help with recruitment because our team spends a lot of time with reviewing resumes. And, we're a small organization, but we've done a tremendous amount of recruitment and hiring just in the first quarter. And so as I think about the woman hours that we have committed to reading resumes, all of them, because I really want to make sure we have a balanced slate for our hiring managers. It takes so much time.
yeah.
So if I can find an AI tool that will identify top talent based on a set of criteria that we are able to input and still be able to create a balanced slate, balanced in terms of experience, in terms of gender, lived experience, right? Proximity to poverty for us is important. Um, Representation, meaning how is it that we can ensure that our staff continues to be representative of the people in New York City that we are intending to serve?
Mhm.
That's what I would love to see in an AI tool. It would be like another employee, honestly. And that's essentially how we're using it now, just to help
Yeah.
with some of our writing and developing like written policies or planning events and programming or project plans. We tend to use AI for those tasks.
Really interesting. I feel like we wouldn't have had the same conversation even a year ago, like
Mm-hmm.
how big it's become in people's, at least people that do a lot of office work in our everyday lives, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
people are just turning to it all the time, or
Yes.
people are using it in their job searches. Like it's incredible how fast it's become a thing.
Yes. Well, that I've also found, as we're speaking about job searches and recruitment, we have become pretty attuned to those candidates that use AI, say for a cover letter.
Hmm.
Um, but then when we interview them and ask about some of the detail of the cover letter or even in the resume, sometimes that needs to match up, right?
Yeah.
So for candidates out there that are using AI to perhaps elevate themselves, like I just need to make sure. Again, we can do this from the human eye and through an interview. What is credible and what is not? What is too much AI influenced as
Hmm.
opposed to kind of what is true.
Yeah,
So we're on the lookout for that.
I imagine.
Yeah,
Brave new world.
I know. But we're good. We're good at identifying like great talent. And so it doesn't take long. We can tell.
Yeah.
We can tell.
Yeah, that's great. So, how can people find you if they're interested in learning more about your organization or the work you're doing?
Yeah, we're really, I have to say, like, we're so honored and proud to be doing this work on behalf of people experiencing poverty and the most vulnerable. Um, They can find me on LinkedIn, Stephanie A. Royal. But to find out more about Robinhood, please just go to our website, robinhood.org. And it's a great website. There's a lot of video and a lot of things for you to learn. Certainly check out our poverty tracker data. It's depressing to observe the number of
Yeah.
people who are experiencing poverty. But what keeps us going every day is the recognition and the acknowledgement that we are doing good work, that we are putting our resources to good use, and that we're in partnership with 300 nonprofits around New York City who are on the front lines of advancing economic mobility. I'll also mention our thousands of donors that are in support of the work that we do. Without them and this partnership between the donors, the nonprofit sector, the corporate community, we could not do this work. But it is such an honor to be working in community with all of them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure folks are going to really enjoy this conversation.
Great.
I know I did. And to everyone listening, I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us today on our Rise Together podcast weekly hot take series. We hope you've been inspired by today's stories and strategies for building stronger, more resilient communities. Remember, resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about growing through every challenge to become bigger and better. If you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with somebody who could benefit from these insights. Stay connected, stay resilient, and we'll see you next time.